Oh, hi there, it's Jennifer.
And it's Christy and it's my cat Gracie. She's on the bed right now.
I love it. She's
I
wanting to say
didn't
hi.
know she was gonna do this, but she's trying to get my attention.
Oh, that's funny. She's probably seeing the spirit guides. She's
She,
probably she's like, Mom, there's a lot of shit going on around here.
the minute you push record, she decided to start her show.
I love
And now,
that.
and now she's looking at the phone. I know you can't see her, but she's looking at the phone. It's so funny.
I love it. She Cats do that. They seem to do that right before people start channeling. Oh my gosh, so pretty.
She's the softest cat I've ever had.
Oh, and so white. Oh, I don't have Pebbles in here because usually Pebbles is in here too. We'll
I'm
just we'll just deal with a little cattail. It's so cute.
I didn't even know she was in here until you
Yep.
started recording.
She's gonna be the star of the videos, so you might as well just let her walk. Oh,
Well, I have another cat and she's humongous. Like she's the biggest cat. She's very orange. She looks like Garfield. Like she's massive and she's orange and her name is Curry because the Indian spice curry is orange.
yes.
But also she is a complete snob. She doesn't like anybody, not even me. She doesn't want to be touched. She doesn't want to be petted. She will lay on my feet when I'm sleeping occasionally, and I like that. But like Gracie, the one that you just saw, she's everybody's friend. She wants everybody to touch her, and she's super soft too. But then Curry, she's like massive. She looks exactly like Garfield. She's huge and she's orange.
Beautiful. I love that. Probably lazy too.
Every cat is lazy, I think.
So too. I could be a cat. I could take naps.
What a dream. That would be a dream life. And have everybody cater to you. Oh my, and lay in windows all day.
All day in the sun. Oh, I love that. That's funny.
Okay, well I'm Christy. Sorry, my cat ruined my intro.
No, it was
This is
perfect.
Christy and Jen in Transcendence, and I think we're gonna try some channeling, but we just wanted to maybe just get on here and chit chat and talk a little bit amongst ourselves about our journey and the things that we've been working on and doing and figuring out the last 9 or 10 months, I guess.
Yeah, well, it'll be a year this month, end of this month. You
When
had
did
your
you?
first session in the end of December.
Yeah, when did you get your certification completed?
Oh yeah, it was like in April
Of 2022?
2023. I don't know. The years have went by so fast.
I thought there was something going on. You said October of last year. What was happening in October of last year with you with the quantum healing stuff?
But I
Is that when you
That's
found
when
out
I
about it?
signed up for it. And then I got level 2 in February, and then I got my certification in level 2. And then I signed up for Soul Center Healing Hypnosis. Then I
Oh,
got my
okay.
certification there.
Okay, so yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking that we could talk about for a few minutes. Like, sorry, I keep looking down, you guys. I'm a fidgeter. So Jennifer, I think she's made a couple of videos telling you a little bit about her journey. I know I've made a couple of really quick ones. I'm sorry about that. I'm working on doing better with the longer videos and more frequent. I think she's told you a little bit. She had lost her mother and her daughter had had a session with a hypnotist, or do you say hypnotist or hypnotherapist?
Both. It's whatever.
Okay. So her daughter had had a session and was really impressed and kind of just explained all of it to Jennifer. And if I'm saying any of this wrong, please interrupt me. And so when her daughter had her session, and then Jennifer was extremely intrigued, and we've been friends since we were 15. I think we had a gap where we had lost touch after high school for about 5 or 6 years, but when we reconnected, probably about 13 years ago, it just kind of just picked, like no time had passed at all. It was just, that's kind of one of the ways that I knew she was special, because I've I've had really close friends in high school and I'll run into them today and it's just super awkward. And So when I had ran into her and her daughters, I think it was in the Walmart parking lot, and we just started chatting, and it had been probably 5 or 6 years since I had seen her. And it was just so crazy. Just, I felt this warmth, and I just felt like this feeling of, I don't know, like I had known her my whole life. And then we come to find out that our moms had been really close friends in the 80s, and we had been babysat together for several years when we were like toddlers and preschool age. We didn't even know any of that. Um, and then several of our other family members are connected. Anyway, it's just wild. But so after her daughter had had this session, Jennifer kind of just got really super intrigued, and I understand why. She's always been pretty spiritual. Her and I have both been spiritual on different ways, like on different avenues that we were taking our own personal spirituality, but we weren't really talking about it a whole lot. But then also, I think, well, I know, she's one of these people that gets intrigued by something and then she has to figure it out. And like I'm sort of on the lazy side. I'll get intrigued by something, I'll start it, but I'll never finish it. And that's just kind of like my thing, unless it's just super important to me. But she became a hairdresser, she became a cosmetologist, she learned how to quilt, she quilts amazingly, and I could go on and on. There's all these little just things, and she'll just randomly call me up. I'm taking a glass staining class, and I'm like, oh, okay. And she's not going to stop until she masters it. So it's pretty cool to me just to see all of her little talents unfold. And so when she told me that she was intrigued and interested in learning about hypnosis, I didn't really pay any attention because the girl's always got her hands in something. And then a couple of months goes by and she's just like, hey, can I try this with you? I need to kind of play around with this and see if I have this figured out. Basically, I mean, I don't know anything about it. I didn't go to school for it, but basically, I think when someone is doing that, they obviously have to start somewhere. And so because I'm her best friend, I'm like, sure, I'll be your guinea pig. Why not? And I honestly just really thought that it was just going to be like a super disappointing thing for her, because I just thought I was going to lay there. This was going to be so super awkward. And then she was probably going to get her feelings hurt because it didn't work. And then it did. And not only did it work, but like all this stuff came through, like all these past lives. For me, I think we had 2 or 3 in that first one, or maybe in the first few sessions. I don't remember. It's been a long time, but I remember it was really deep, and it was really detailed. And I got up and I was like, did it work? And she was like, oh yes, it definitely worked. And so I remember, like, I'll remember parts of the sessions when it comes to like past lives. I have like this foggy memory, like it was a dream, kind of like you can kind of recall your dreams. But then in between the past lives, it'll take you to a place. And I only know this because she records these and I've listened to them like crazy. And so in between the past lives, it'll take you to a place where it's your spirit. And so, maybe your spirit is in another realm. Well, it's always in another realm. Maybe your spirit is having a meeting with its team. Maybe your spirit is reviewing its lot, whatever it is. And then Jennifer figured out that she could ask to talk to the guides, and several of them were more than happy to talk to her. And so it just started this huge journey. And I remember for her, she says that her main agenda was to learn how to communicate with her mom. And and that's her personal thing. I remember mine was just to figure out manifesting. I was really obsessed at that time in my life. I was really obsessed with manifesting, and because I had seen the results of what happens when you manifest correctly, but I couldn't figure out how to constantly do it correctly. And I thought, okay, if I can get into my subconscious, kind of rearrange the furniture a little bit, then I'll be on the gravy train, and I'll have my mansion and my dream life, which is ridiculous to think about now, because every dream life can be a dream life, and it's not about possessions. And that's a whole other tangent. I'm sorry that I got off on that, but the point I'm making with the manifesting is that I really wanted to figure out how to access the parts of my brain that were closed off to me, and to just go deeper with my own inner knowledge on why I was not always successful, because I had successfully manifested so many things, but then sometimes I would be doing what I thought was right and it wasn't working. And so, of course, when she figures out that she can talk to my spirit team and my spirit guides, I'm definitely on the whole, can you please just get them to clarify? Uh-oh, something just popped up on my screen. I was just like, can you please just kind of get them to clarify, tell me how exactly I can get what it is that I want. And I remember all of that. And of course they do, because they'll tell you anything you want. I mean, they're so knowledgeable and they're so patient, and they have so much wisdom, and the things that they say and the things that they bring through is never what you think is going to come through, but it's so much better. And so of course, sorry, go ahead.
I'm just listening.
And so of course, I was thrilled because they tell you all the ways to manifest and what you're doing that can hinder you and all this. But then it just went so far beyond that, and it went to this whole place of, is your soul clean? Are you making sure to protect it? Are you cleaning your soul? I mean, I'm paraphrasing, that's not the words they use, but that's the way I interpreted it. Basically was like, and then so Jennifer's like, well, how do we do that? Because she's the interviewee. And so the guides are, and she's uploaded several of these early videos to this channel. If any of you want to go check them out, they're very interesting. Um, and so the guides would just say things like, you know, you have to put yourself first, in a sense. You have to find joy. You can't accomplish anything without finding joy. And so whatever that looks like for you, and there's a myriad of examples that they can give you. And I always make a joke, because for me, it's either I'm not a big, huge TV person. Like, my TV never comes on during the day, but at nighttime when it's time to relax, I have like these 2 or 3 silly little shows that I'll turn on that super relax me. And that just kind of gets me in that zone of like, everything's calm in my mind. But then my other, and I have a ton of things obviously, but my other one is silly. It's Pinterest. And people always kind of laugh when I tell them that. I don't know why, but that just really calms me down, and it puts me in this super focused, like, my brain is calm and there's no distractions, and I just kind of feel good. But anyway, I remember that was one of the things they said. And um, they said go out and walk barefoot. I think most of you have heard about grounding. They said to be kind and make sure your thoughts are kind and your actions are kind. I don't remember all the other advice they gave us in the beginning for cleaning our soul, essentially. Do you remember any of the other tips?
Um, oh, there was the goal was for you to for us to have hope, peace, and enlightenment, and to just release everything to them, because fear is not real and only love is real, and that's hard to comprehend at first. But whenever you understand that you actually do have the spirit guides to remove stuff, it helps a whole lot more.
Yeah, and I would get blocked every once in a while, and of course that was still before I knew anything about ego or all these other things that were, to me in the beginning, super complicated. And now it's a piece of cake almost, although I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that because I know a lot of people are struggling. But for me, I look back now and I'm like, oh, all those moments that I thought I was having this whole difficult time and all this confusion, I'm sure I know some of it was ascending symptoms, but a lot of it was just ego, because my ego couldn't comprehend that there was a power greater than it. And even me saying I don't deserve to suffer, that's ego. And so for me, when I fully figured that out, don't even say things like I don't deserve to suffer, why am I suffering, why is this happening? All of those things, you, in your human viewpoint, in your 3D, those are very real things, and those are things that don't feel like, they just feel like normal things. But if your goal is to get to the 5D and beyond, and if your goal is to be enlightened, you'll see very quickly that asking those kinds of questions, those are a sign of ego. Those questions are a sign that you still have ego, that your ego is still running the show. But once your inner soul, and once you're I don't know, once that inner knowing kind of grasps that there's something so much more big, so much more powerful than your ego, and your ego can't survive, it kind of suffocates, because all the love comes rushing in, because you're opening your chakras and you're opening your heart like never before, and you're realizing that everyone's innocent. Because and it's not just you realizing, like, obviously we're getting this from the sessions and we're getting this from the guides, and when I listen back to these recordings, it always blows me away. Sorry, I had something in my eye. It always blows me away. But obvious, or not obviously, some people may not know this, but the meditating, the journaling, there's little things you can do, like There's a shower meditation. There's all these different, they're so simple. And some
Thought,
people like, go ahead.
changing your thoughts.
Right. And so that's the point. That's the point of all of it, is to rearrange and redirect your thinking process. And so, that was profound for me. Jennifer caught on to that a little bit quicker than I did, because she was at that prime time in her life where her brain was really super fertile, and it was just easy for those seeds to be planted. And my life was a little bit chaotic. And yeah, I would grasp it because I had spent years in the past learning all this, but then my life got really crazy. And I don't know. I don't want to say the word forget. That's not the right word, but I just kind of fell out of my practice. And so when she was at the perfect time where her mind was so fertile and all these seeds were being planted, and she's getting it, and she's getting it, and she's getting it, and she's telling anyone that'll listen, especially me. And I'm grateful she did that. But it took me a little bit longer to grasp because I had so much chaos. I was a little jaded. This was all new to her, and she's super excited. And for me, I had been down that path before, forgot about it, and now I'm in the middle of what I thought was chaos. And now I can look back and it wasn't chaos at all. It was the ego. And so anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk that. But so journaling and meditating and redirecting your thoughts and choosing kindness every single time, even when every single ounce of you inside of you is saying, this person hurt me, this situation scarred me. Once you fully grasp that that hurt isn't even real, that's just ego. That scar isn't even real. I know it feels real. I know that when someone harms you, when you're going through it, and you're dealing with divorce, or you're dealing with someone passing away, or you're dealing with someone who truly wants to make your life hard, it feels so very real. And I understand that. But if you commit to the practice, and if you commit to the steps, and you research what your shadow work is, and what an ego death is, and you truly, truly, truly are committed to this process, and you realize that you have the power, with the help of the guides, you have the power to rearrange your thoughts, and you have the power to choose differently, then you're changing. And then, it also helps that you're getting all of this divine knowledge in this divine situation. And they're telling you that you can change your lineage, and you can heal your ancestral wounds. And they're telling you that your children can grow up to be essentially gods. And I don't mean that literally. I mean that more or less like their soul is so pure and so clean because of the work that you did, that they're not going to have the stuff that you had. They're not going to have the stumbling blocks that you had. And it's all because you committed yourself to the spiritual work. And so if you're here and you're listening to this video and you're watching this video, obviously you're curious or somewhat committed to your spiritual work, or you wouldn't have made it this far in my ramblings. And so I highly recommend, if you haven't seen Quantum, it's what Jennifer is. She's a hypnotist, but she's quantum. Say it. How's it said?
Quantum healing, quantum healing hypnosis technique. And
Right. So when you look for a hypnotist, and Jennifer, I think, is taking Zoom appointments. I'm not sure if she's started that or not. I know that's something she's interested in.
with the Soul Center healing hypnosis, I do that. Yes.
Okay, so you can reach out to her if you want to research on your own and find your own person that you can go see in person. Whatever the case may be, that is a great tool, and it's something that you'll thank yourself for, because you will get a lot out of that. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. So about the surrogacy. So she was listening to, who is the people you was listening to on YouTube that did the surrogacy?
Oh, Heather
The
Hink.
two Right. So she was listening to the lady Heather Hink, and is she the hypnotist or is she the surrogate? Okay. So then she has a lady that comes in, and she's a surrogate for people who can't, for whatever reason, they can't be put under. And Jennifer's like, we should try this. And I'm like, I don't know about that. That's a little weird. I don't know how I'm going to accomplish that. And she's like, no, I think you can do it. You're a medium. I really think that you have a strong connection. And so I was like, okay. So we did it, and it worked. And so as long as someone gives permission, because you can't, what's the way to say it? You can't affect free will. You can't hijack anyone's free will. And if you are doing that by some sort of sorcery or dark magic, you're